Hey, the Pro Hoops playoffs tonight. Minnesota hosting Dallas. Dallas with a 3-1 lead into Game 5, best of 7 series. They need one more win to reach the finals. The series winner plays Boston. Minnesota, a 4.5-point home favorite. PGA Golf, a reminder that BetParx is a proud betting operator of the PGA Tour. As a matter of fact, today starts the first tournament of the year north of the U.S. border. The 2024 RBC Canadian Open tees off from Hamilton Golf Club in Ontario, Canada. It's a wide-open field. Rory McIlroy's the favorite, the only golfer ranked in the top 10 competing at the RBC Canadian Open. Bet all your favorite sports and now play live baccarat, roulette, also several different live blackjack games. You can play them all right now with the live dealer right on your phone, the BetParx online casino and sportsbook app. Plus, play hundreds of exciting online slots. Check out some new online slots, including Zeus, Fantastic Fireworks, Lucky Cherry. All the action and excitement from the casino is right at your fingertips. It's safe and it's simple and easy to use. BetParx, the only app that I use and recommend. You got to be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Headlines now from the Thursday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Sorry to the 6.75% of you who thought that yesterday would have been the day that a verdict would be returned in the Trump trial. We had 24,817 votes cast yesterday. When will the Trump trial be over? 51.35% said Friday, meaning tomorrow. 24.75% said today, Thursday, is going to be the day. 17.15% said it's going to be on Friday, which would probably mean Monday, because I can't imagine they'll deliberate this weekend, but one never knows. And yes, 6.75% thought it was going to happen that quickly, that yesterday they would get the case just before lunch and that they'd come back with a verdict, but that's not what happened. I sent a note, as TC well knows, Thursday afternoons we have a conference call with the folks who help us plan the CNN program. And I sent a note to everybody, as I always do, very early on Thursday morning
in
today.
The wee hours.
Yeah. And so here's what I said relative to, like, how are we going to approach this on Saturday on television?
What?
I said, whatever happens in the Trump trial, it will be a segment. Right? Like, we're going to do it.
Obviously.
We're obviously going to be talking about the Trump trial.
Let's just get the obvious out of the way. Okay.
If the jury is still out, it will be a segment speculating on what is going on with the jury. Pretty obvious.
Okay.
If the jury comes back, it means he was found guilty. Like, there's no way the jury is coming back before the end of Friday with a hung jury, because the judge wouldn't allow that to happen. And it's not going to be an acquittal, in my opinion. So if there's a verdict, and I now am dealing with it on Saturday, it'll be a guilty verdict.
Okay.
So then I say it'll be a forward-looking conversation on punishment and the political ramifications.
Okay.
And in the political ramifications, I would include not only how will Trump handle it and what will be the response, but also how the President Biden, will handle it.
Sure.
There's an editorial in the Wall Street Journal today that says this: the press is reporting that President Biden plans to opine on the verdict in the Manhattan case against Donald Trump once the jury decides. If that's true, it would be another lousy White House political decision that plays into Trump's hands and underscores the partisan nature of the prosecution. Mr. Biden is better advised to say nothing.
I agree with that.
That could be a good poll question.
I agree with that. I agree. I don't think De Niro should have gone out. I thought that was,
well, that's what this says. That De Niro was a mistake.
Totally.
And that it would similarly be a mistake because it'll play into Trump's hands that it's all political.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's obviously it's going to be mentioned on the campaign trail, but you don't sort of come out as it's happening.
Well, I think you just helped me make the decision that tomorrow should be this as a poll question.
Or should it be Saturday? But you don't want to wait in case it comes back
but
tomorrow.
It probably would have already happened.
Right. Okay.
The time to ask it is before the jury comes back.
Of course.
Today's poll question at Smerconish.com: should universities refrain from taking official positions on controversial public policy issues? I was on my own alma mater, Lehigh University's campus, a couple of weeks ago, spent time with the president at his house, which was wonderful, and 30 students, and had spoken to journalism
I remember
students.
the pictures. You posted them
Yeah,
on Instagram.
it was really
neat.
a treat.
Yeah.
But I had the conversation as to how, Lehigh isn't embroiled in these controversies. And, the president said to me, because we don't take official positions.
Right.
Once you do, then everybody says, well, wait, you took a position on this.
You have to weigh in on everything.
It's all or nothing,
right,
is the point. So Harvard, which has been all, is now seeking to go to nothing. From the Daily Crimson, after months of grappling with a campus fractured by a polarizing debate over the Israel-Hamas war, Harvard announced on Tuesday the university and its leadership will refrain from taking official positions on controversial public policy issues. TC, this is your alma mater, and of course you know that Harvard replaced its president,
Sure.
Claudine Gay,
Right.
also Liz McGill at
Right.
Penn after the blowback of the hearing in Congress. What do you make of this?
I think this is the right decision. I think it is in the all or nothing category. I think nothing is the better path. I appreciated the in your poll podcast.
Oh,
today,
fire. Greg Lukianoff.
Greg Lukianoff's point about how they are not the how did he say it? He said they're the hosts of the ideas.
Right.
Universities are
Yep.
hosting ideas.
Right.
So it needs to come from the students who have various ideas, all of which
Yes, we should
all
tolerate.
of which should be allowed.
Right,
So I
as
thought
long
that
as
was
there's not
really
hate,
interesting.
as long as nobody's
Sure.
inciting violence,
Sure.
the controversial opinion should come from faculty and from students, but not the university.
Correct.
The university is there to provide guardrails.
Hosting.
Yeah, hosting.
I love that.
And he also spoke, and I remembered this. I was able to play that tape on the poll podcast
Yeah,
because
you pulled that out, didn't you? You can't remember what you had for breakfast, Michael.
it's so true.
It's amazing. How on earth do
I
you
don't
remember
know.
that
I don't know
one
what-
line?
I don't know what that is, but I
You
was
sent it
reading
to me last night, and I was like, I don't even know what this is.
Right.
And then I said, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what a great 1 minute. It's 1 minute of audio that you remembered.
I remembered interviewing Greg Lukianoff for my television book club special,
Yeah.
which was taped last December. And I remembered asking him a question of whether universities ought to be taking any positions. And he made reference to a University of Chicago working group called the Calvin, I think, Committee.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck out in my mind. And then I read the Harvard story yesterday, and TC's right. Like, I can't remember a damn thing.
Neither can I. That's why
But-
it amazes me.
It triggered in my mind, oh, Greg Lukianoff had
Yeah.
something interesting to say about that. I grabbed the interview, which was very easy to find. I watched it last night. Send a note to TC at the 4-minute, 17-second mark. Please grab the tape.
So I get this file, and I'm like, 4 minutes. What is he even talking about? By the way, reminder to those of you who have not watched the book club special.
Yeah, it was
the
great.
Background is cool. It looks awesome. You had such a great series. I just putting it out there.
Greg Lukianoff, you'll remember, wrote with Jonathan Haidt, The Coddling of the American Mind, and then came back and wrote on his own The Canceling of the American Mind, and that was the context in which I was interviewing him last December for that special. The Calvin Report is what it's called. The Calvin Report from the University of Chicago, where they say, hey, we're not the critics. We host the critics. So there you go. And in similar fashion from Vox, and we have this in the newsletter today as well, your favorite brand no longer cares about being woke, or as I think I put it in the headline in the newsletter. Oh, there it is today. The revolution will not be advertised.
They're not going to advertise the revolution. They're just going to do their thing. They want to sell to Republicans and Democrats. I thought this was very, very interesting on the heels of, we all think of Bud Light as
Right.
being hugely part of it. But that's it. That just with all these controversial issues, it's just best to sell beer.
But it's you're so right to link these two stories because it's the same issue.
Yeah.
Should universities be taking official
Right.
positions, and should products, retail,
Yeah.
advertisers be getting involved in the fray?
I have a friend who owns her own business, and I won't name it just in case. And when everything started coming out with on October 7th,
Right?
her marketing team said, "What should we say?" And she said, "We should say absolutely nothing," which is it's tricky. Because on some things, you're
Why
like,
aren't you
wait,
saying
there's
something?
a right and there's a wrong.
Yeah.
Why aren't you saying
Why
something?
aren't you
But
saying
it's
something?
It's the precedent. It's a very interesting, because sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, there's just not a question about which side.
Right.
But that's not the issue.
Because then tomorrow,
right,
when it's a little hazier,
nuanced,
somebody else is going to say, hey, you weighed in on that.
Right.
Why aren't you weighing in on this?
All or nothing.
And then you'll have protesters outside saying, you're not saying anything.
And I'm not buying your product.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same principle. It makes it a great poll question today. Should universities refrain from taking official positions on controversial public policy issues? The early voting, very Okay, wait. In real time, I see that when there were exactly 1,000 votes,
right,
exactly 1,000, it was, let's call it 75-25.
All right, let's see how it sticks.
Steve Breen is our Thursday editorial cartoonist for the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Very funny image, TC. Joe Biden is being sort of hugged by Tommy. Do you remember the movie? Did you see that? Go ahead.
Oh. Is that what that was? Who that was supposed to be?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's inflation.
Gosh. Right.
But
I get that.
In the image,
he's actually raising him up, like his feet are above the ground.
Right.
And he says, and Biden's, being boosted by that is how I saw it. Do you think that I interpreted that right, or no?
I think it's that inflation has Biden in its clutches.
Oh.
Yeah, not that it's helping him, to the contrary, but that he can't control it because inflation is much bigger than he is. That's how I see it.
You know who's not worried about inflation because he has so damn much money? Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, how about that? So the British Prime Minister is in the news. This is the second day in a row that we've had some UK news. Yesterday, it was the fact that the Home Secretary, Mr. Cleverly, James Cleverly,
the Honorable,
did an interview with the BBC and talked about this program. Sunak is standing for election on July 4th. Okay, he had until December to call for election. He caught everybody off guard, which I guess was part of the strategy. And he's proposed what's become a controversial measure for mandatory national service for 18-year-olds, not necessarily in the military. And what I found so intriguing, because it's so in line with the Mingle Project, is that the British Home Secretary said too many young people are living in their own bubble, whether it's a digital bubble or a social bubble. We want to get back to a situation where young people are mixing with people in different areas, different economic groups, different religions, to try to find a way of addressing the kind of fragmentation that we see so much of. Oh my God, it's like straight out of my speech.
We played the audio and it was like verbatim something you would say.
It's true.
It was unbelievable.
If the Home Secretary were in this country, I'd be sitting here saying, surely he heard me say that. Like in my commencement address, which I delivered on CNN, which aired on CNN International.
That's true. And
I use the word fragmentation.
The podcast can, is heard everywhere.
Do you
My
think
sister listens to the podcast
the British
every day
Home Secretary
in Norway?
We love her for that.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, that was yesterday's story, but worthy of mentioning again. So Rishi Sunak, and TC makes reference to the fact that he's well off. That's true in the coverage that I'm looking at today from the Daily Mirror. So it must be true. He and his wife, Akshata Murthy, the richest inhabitants of Downing Street in history, their combined £651 million fortune put them above the king on the list of the wealthiest people in the country. It is driven largely by her stake in Infosys, which is an Indian IT company that her father founded. Why has Rishi Sunak, TC, made the newsletter today?
Because of his backpack. So evidently he went on the campaign trail to one of the poorest areas of the country via train, but he was spotted with what the Mirror is calling a luxury Toomey backpack, monogram with his initials RS, supposedly worth £750.
Okay, can I say they give you the monogramming for free? They've got a little
what do you
machine.
Mean
Toomey. They have
what you got over there?
My Toomey bag. My Toomey bag. Do you want to see if I have my initials on it?
Do you? Let me see. Oh my gosh, how much did that cost you? I mean, if a backpack is $750, that must have been over £1,000 right there.
No.
Yes.
No.
Come on.
I'm zipping it up so that nothing falls out and embarrasses
me. Oh boy.
Me.
All right. If those of you watching on YouTube are about to get a real treat,
you're going to appreciate on YouTube my name tag. Yeah.
Yeah, the tag is cool.
Okay, Rishi Sunak, there's mine.
Right. I see your backpack. I raise you my messenger bag.
And here, by the way, is the initial tab. Okay.
Wait, is that the initial or does that say Toomey?
No. MAS. So they've got like a little area here.
Okay.
and they have like a press in the store, and they just like squeeze it out and stick it on.
Like nothing.
And if it ever falls off, you can go back to another Toomey store and they'll do it again.
But you know a lot about this.
But not so glamorous, right? Look at it. It's well made.
Wait a minute. What do you mean not so glamorous? It's a Toomey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your point? It's a luxury bag. It's a high-end luxury bag.
It's a luxury. It's
according to the Mirror.
It's
the
a
PM
man's,
was spotted with a luxury.
It's a
Toomey
man's
bag.
briefcase. It's a man's briefcase.
Monogrammed.
I liked. TC, they give you the monogramming for free. They have a little press.
They give you the monogramming for free when you pay over £1,000 for a bag.
That's not true. That is not part of it true.
Yes, high-end stores.
I like this part of the story. After he arrived in Cornwall, Mr. Sunak faced questions about why he's taking leveling up funds away from the county to pay for his national service plan.
Oh, shoot.
So they're talking about the story of the Home Secretary,
he's robbing
right?
from Peter to pay for Paul.
But I love the word choice. Why are you taking away our leveling up funds?
What is that?
Okay, it must be like a safety net, a social welfare program where we're boosting. Yeah, they're leveling up funds.
All right.
Where are our leveling up funds?
That feels very descriptive.
Toomey bags for all.
Oh my gosh.
More headlines from the Thursday edition of the Daily Newsletter. Jerry Seinfeld seems like the wrong guy to be arguing for bringing back dominant masculinity.
Okay, well, I have to say that the headline is a little bit misleading because he is completely jokey and self-deprecating in this. Yes, he does say those words sort of, but it's more like, bring back the real man, not that I am one. Like he basically says that.
Well, I loved his examples of real men.
Yeah.
I thought they were they really spoke to me.
Okay, wait. I think they are in this clip that I'm going to play. If not, then you can say them after this. Here is part of what Jerry Seinfeld had to say on Honestly with Barry Weiss. He's making the rounds promoting Unfrosted.
I love that movie.
That is part of what I think is, if you want to talk about nostalgia, that's part of what makes that moment attractive looking back. And the other thing is, as a man. Can I say
sure
that?
you are? Are you?
I've always wanted to be.
I didn't ask your pronouns before we began.
I've always wanted to be a real man. I never made it. But I really thought when I was in that era, again, it was JFK, it was Muhammad Ali, it was Sean Connery, Howard Cosell. You can go all the way down there. That's
Cosell.
A real man.
There you go. All right.
Howard
I
Cosell.
want to be like that someday.
He wants to be like that.
Yeah.
But he's big. He's
I never really grew up. I mean, you don't want to as a comedian because it's a childish pursuit. But I miss a dominant masculinity. Yeah, I get the toxic thing. I get it. But still, I like a real man.
I think you have to hear the way he says it because if you look at the headline, it feels a little.
Hey, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. The headline, the hearing, we're not. I love it.
Okay.
Howard Cosell and Sean Connery.
There you
love
go.
it. And he also says that he talks about Hugh Grant, who is in Unfrosted.
Correct.
He says he knows how to dress. He knows how to talk. He's charming. He has stories. He's comfortable at dinner parties and knows how to get a drink. You know what I mean? That stuff.
Yeah. And Jerry Seinfeld was like, that was never me.
Who knew that Margate City, New Jersey, has a mayor?
Oh, yeah.
But the mayor has
mayors of the
apologized
Shoretowns.
to the Kelseys
Yeah.
for what happened.
And offered to buy dinner. They want them back.
Right.
They want to redo
They want them
the
back
date
at
night.
Stephen Cookies, where I've dined.
What is Stephen Cookies? Is that like
It's like a nice restaurant.
Okay.
On the bay in Margate.
Nice.
Hey, there's more in the newsletter. I don't have time for it. I definitely want to reference TC After Dark. What you got going?
Okay, wait a second. I have a list for you.
Go ahead.
Clam bellies, chicken salad, mayonnaise, watermelon, lobster rolls, and a patty melt.
Yeah, I mean, most of that I eat on a regular basis.
Okay, so those are all things that have come into my life in the last 2 or 3 years.
What's a patty melt?
Okay. It's like a combination of a hamburger, a grilled cheese, and maybe a Reuben, depending how you make it. It's like a hamburger in a grilled cheese.
I don't want that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes.
I want the grilled cheese, great. I want the Reuben, great, or I'll take the burger.
I'm
don't
telling
go
you.
mixing them up.
Okay.
I don't do that.
I never had.
I don't do that.
Okay,
I don't
you
want
are
that.
exactly who this podcast is for. Try new things. Try things you think you didn't like.
I already like burgers, and I like grilled cheese, and I like Reubens.
Okay, this attitude does not help.
So why would I tinker with that?
Because you are missing out.
I like it the way it is.
You don't know that.
Yes, I
You just
do.
think that. I thought I didn't like mayonnaise for years. Try things. That's all I'm telling you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great poll question today. Listen to TC After Dark and vote on the poll question. TC After Dark and the poll question. Thank you. See ya.